CIO Power List 2024. Up next, we have a session with our premium partner, Slack, by Salesforce. We have Himanshu Rajpal, Regional Sales Leader for Slack, Service and Platform Solutions, Salesforce, sharing his perspective on bringing AI to work with Slack. Let's welcome Himanshu on stage. Let's have a round of applause for Himanshu while he joins us on stage. Thank you, Himanshu.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Himanshu Rajpal, and I am between you and lunch. So I will try to keep this as interesting as possible. I'll try to keep it as lively as possible, and my only request to you would be if you can stop straining your necks to your mobile phones and just look at me for some time. I'm not a bad-looking guy. I think from that photograph to now, I lost about 6-7 kgs more. So I'm far more leaner and smarter than I am at that point in time. I'm going to speak to you a little bit about what I see as the future of the modern workplace and the way that we see it emerging into the future, right? And I thought a lot when I was building out this presentation whether I should just straight away get technical because I'm going to be in the midst of CIO legends, or should I just talk product because everybody wants to get this audience to sell to? And I spent a lot of time thinking about it. But before I do that, I think it's mandatory because we are a publicly listed company to tell you that you should base all your future buying decisions on products that are available. We may have certain forward-looking conversations. If we do, we will let you know, and you should qualify your purchase decisions to that extent. Now, the Salesforce and the Slack standard of whenever we speak to anyone is to first start with thank you. I am in gratitude to all of you here for the time that you are affording, for your attention. And finally, I see that some of my esteemed colleagues are not straining their necks into their mobile phones. So I'm truly grateful for that. When I was thinking about putting this presentation together, one of the things that kept on coming back to me was, what is it that really drives the modern workplace? Or what is it that drives the modern household? What is it that really drives all of us today? And I think it's that 6-inch device that is there in front of all of us, maybe 2 of them. On an average, from a business standpoint, an average large enterprise runs on 1,000 applications. 1,000 applications. And it's chaotic. It's completely chaotic. There are emails, there are notifications, there are alerts, there are several things which kind of pounce at me every day in the morning when I get up. And when I joined Salesforce, one of the best things that happened to me was that it decluttered my office productivity and the headaches that I used to have of opening 7 different consoles, 6 different apps, and looking at everything else, because I was able to get a single source of truth. So today, what Slack did for me is really kind of brought in system events across applications, technology platforms, systems, together with human events about what we really want these apps and technology to do for us, which is just to simply work and deliver outcomes. And that has really happened. That is really what happened with me and Slack. Unique relationship. I have been an ardent Slack fan even before I joined Slack. So I am one of those guys who uses, who's very strong on measuring his metabolic markers. That's one reason on how I lost weight, which is that I have a chip installed on me, and I keep on getting measurements through the day on the chip in terms of what's my sugar level, what's my BP, how did my body react and respond after I ate something, and how do I control my lifestyle overall. And one of the biggest reasons why I am able to do so is because this patch called as Ultra Human runs on Slack. And I have a community of 7,000 people in India who are called as the Cyborg Army, who actually help me run and manage my life much better. So the advantages that this provides to us from an engagement standpoint is to be seen, to be used, to be believed and experienced. Now, When we talk about one of the biggest deficits that happens in modern workplaces today, can anybody talk to me about what is the biggest deficit that we have? The biggest deficit that we have today is of attention. The biggest deficit. That happens with my 13-year-old at home. It happens with all my team members. Attention deficit. And what Slack has been able to do for us, at least, is that it has been able to drive aggregated attention. All our paid users across the world, on an average, spend about 95 minutes focused on Slack. When we take it across our user base, that's 6 billion hours of time spent in a year. And how do I use it, for example? If I have to do an approval, I don't need to go to a separate app. If I need to approve a leave on Workday, I don't go to a separate app. Believe me, it's been 3 years I have not opened my email account. Believe me. I don't run my life on emails. I run it on Slack. I need to look at my calendar invites, I look at Slack. I need to engage with my teams, I huddle. I want to set up an external connect with one of our customers, we set up an external channel. I need to search, and I did a very interesting search today, which said, how do I do an opening for Slack for a public event? And I got 3 options from Slack search. Which was the largest deal that ran through for my business over the last 12 months in terms of number of users? I got that information in a jiffy. This is real life. This is not a prototype. I work with this every single day. I run projects on something called as lists with my team every single day. That's real life productivity for me in terms of what the platform delivers. Now, some very interesting thing which anecdotally proves what we do is the fact that there are 3 million workflows that run on Slack. And this is for the tech geek in amongst all of us. And these 3 million workflows are run by business users, not just by developers. Business users develop and run 3 million workflows, have developed 13,000 AI-powered apps on Slack. OpenAPI has built ChatGPT leveraging Slack. Spotify runs its business on Slack. Toyota, Daikin, Macquarie Bank, American Express, Chase Man, every single entity that I can talk of today has built a better work-life balance for their employees leveraging Slack. And these run across industries. So whether it's financial services, whether it's media and communication, whether it's healthcare, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's consulting, we are able to help drive value and make office productive, life productive, the workplace productive because of Slack across the board. Now, one of the biggest disruptions which everybody and their grandchildren today talks about is generative AI and the disruption that generative AI has caused over the last 1.5 or 2 years, and has perhaps been the most marked change that has come into our lives in perhaps a decade, right? And one of the very important reasons on what this has led to, it is that it is forcing CIOs, CTOs, and the entire technology leadership to really rethink the relationship with data. While data has always been a currency, data is now building even more importance and gravity than ever before. And the reason why this is becoming more important is not just because of the structured data that lies with all of us, KYC information, information in bank account, core banking system, CRM, is not just because of that, but fundamentally because of the unstructured discussions, the unstructured data that is now getting aggregated within organizations. Our conversations, comments, collaboration, all of this is now getting aggregated. How do you get a central reservoir of this unstructured data in one place in order to be able to help AI drive more value and deliver better outcomes for you? And this is an extremely important question because The more is the unstructured information that we have, the more is the context to the outcome that is delivered by generative AI today. And where do you think unstructured information would get collected? In my experience, Slack has been one of that platforms which has been able to build a huge, massive reservoir of unstructured data in one place. My conversations with my partners, supply chain, project development, product development, colleagues, solution engineering team. Imagine the amount of conversations that an average employee has in a day. Multiply it across the years and across the length and breadth of these conversations. Think about the treasure trove that is getting created in terms of this unstructured data. What are you going to do with it? How does it add productivity, revenue, value for you and your organization? And this is really where Slack comes into play. Because today what Slack is able to do is that it's able to bring in all these apps, the Salesforce apps, third-party apps. We've got 2,600 apps which are pre-integrated into the platform. I gave an example of a few of them, right? Now we are able to drive that single source of truth, which is AI-enabled, AI-powered, and AI-first in the form of Slack now. You want to drive this for your sales teams and drive productivity for your sales teams, reduce their administrative time and help them, you've got Slack Elevate. You want them to be able to service their customers better, service their stakeholders better, have a better level playing field amongst people with various different vintages. You've got Slack and swarming that comes into play. So this is turning out to be extremely powerful in terms of how we are actually building apps and automation, not just limiting ourselves to collaboration, into the flow of work. Now, a very interesting aspect that I did want to talk about are practical use cases, right? We are not just a communication tool as some of you may be led to believe. We are able to help sales in their deal rooms with pipeline management. We are able to help service teams being able to do case swarming, manage incidents better, being able to create a unified source of knowledge. I've run a beautiful perspective on how I can help transformation for the office of the CFO. Somebody who approves every project of ours, but still that team and department which is the last on list from a transformation standpoint. The office of the CFO transformation has become a reality with Slack powering this for the purpose of being able to provide better monthly reports, surfacing analytical capabilities, being able to run audit trails in a secure environment. So the use cases run across. I don't know how many of you know Douglas Adams. This is normally the slide that I do close with. Douglas Adams, for those of you who may be the 1980s geeks of technology, may remember as the humorist and British columnist who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was a BBC show which later on turned into a book. And he wrote, I think in the early 1980s or 90s, he said, "We are struck with technology when what we really want is just stuff that works." So whether it's our employees, whether it's our stakeholders, whether it's our distributors or anyone else, we need to be able to provide them with stuff that works. To conclude, I believe that Slack is that solution. Of course, I draw my salary from them. I need to sell Slack. But honestly, in my experience, even outside of being an employee, I truly believe that it is able to work, make things simpler for me, make my life simpler for me, and really add tangible value. We are here through the day. We'll be very happy to speak to you. We'll be very happy to run demos for you. We'll be very happy to explain how it works in real life and how it can be applied for all of you. So with that, thank you very much, and I appreciate your attention.